You should at least be 5 years. If you're very gifted, you could start at 4.5, but don't do it earlier than that.
Tell me, like, what is the ideal age to learn any form of classical dance, and what are the biggest mistakes that beginners make when they start?
Don't go for Kathak because you think it's going to be easy. It looks easier. It is not easy if you want to do the whole thing properly. Go for it because you want to do it and it comes closer to your mostly Indian. And we do have other nationalities. We have French lady, we have a Ukrainian lady, an Armenian lady, a Lebanese lady. So we do have different ones as well. Lebanese French girl who does better Hanuman than any one of us.
How it will help their kids if they encourage them to get into classical dancing specifically?
Oh my. The biggest mistake that people do is when they actually don't practice it safely. So safe dance practice, it's a huge element of our syllabus. We make sure that every movement that you do gives you a longer shelf life, not shorter. We get people, very highly qualified people have come to us from India. In fact, they were masters in Kathak from Banaras Hindu University. The vocabulary of dance, the ethics of dance, the safe aspect of it, all of that needs to be taught, not just movement. That you can copy from YouTube anyways these days. During COVID and post-COVID, people have changed their attitude. They know how much they need a calling and a sense of self-expression with calm and peace and a full body workout. And if that can be done, what else other than dance?
What are the things someone who has just started should follow as a daily habits to become a good Kathak dancer?
You should at least be 5 years. If you're very gifted, you could start at 4.5, but don't do it earlier than that because to understand something and the discipline of it is important. And before that, trying to discipline a child is not a good idea. As much as we may say that we're making it fun, we're making it easier, we're making it contemporary these days so that we are falling within the regulations of what is safe and what is not. Having said that, I still think that, anything before 5, it's too early to start children disciplining them, as one would say, even if it's a much softer launch. The biggest mistake that people do is when they actually don't practice it safely. So safe dance practice, it's a huge element of our syllabus. We make sure that every movement that you do gives you a longer shelf life, not shorter. So the way you hold yourself, the way you jump, do you warm up, do you cool down? And we have a proper system in place for everything. So there's a general warm-up, there's a style-specific warm-up, there's a proper cool-down. And in fact, we're using the Yogasan, which has been inducted into ISTD as well, where you're actually using those, say, Marjariasan and Vajrasan and Balasan. All of them are cool-down exercises, yes, from our yogic postures. So warrior pose and stretches. So in the warm-up, we have a lot of it's warming up, cooling down, hydrating yourself, eating the right kind of food before and after. All of that makes you a much stronger person and definitely a very good dancer. But most people don't do this. They just come into the class, fatafat, throw their things around and get into dancing. It doesn't work like that. You have to walk. Get ready for your heart to take in that extra blood, which is going to feed your body. So that's something. And again, before you go back to your normal activity, calm down before you go. So that's something that is very important. I would really stress on that with anyone and everyone who is teaching any form of dance.
I knew this thing applies a lot to the people who go to gym and are regularly, exercising on regular basis. But this is exactly the same concept applies here when it comes to dancing also, because it can be exhausting.
It is very exhausting because when you are, say, talking about how Radha sees Krishna on a music track, which is rhythm based. Now, so there's a rhythm pattern you have to follow. There's an element of mudras that you're using. There's an expression that you're doing. So, and the music is playing on you. So there's poetry, music, and movement built together. Now you have no time. It's almost meditative. It's therapeutic. You are in a different space altogether. And so I suppose, that's what makes it a little bit more useful. It's a complete body, mind, and soul workout.
Indeed. How will a parent decide which dance form to begin with, or which dance form will be appropriate for their kids?
It depends a lot on the kind of stories that your child has been reading and studying. Although I must say that we have people who are from completely right. We have a Lebanese French girl who does better Hanuman than any one of us. There is the Sri Lankan girl who is speaking our language in a way which is much more fluent than my North Indian girls. To say that only background makes a difference, no. But it does help you. It helps you to understand those stories. And then when you're telling those stories back to your own people, there are people who understand your story. Whereas if you go home and your dadi ji or your nani or your auntie or the thing that is happening in your community and you're able to dance to it, it kind of gets it moving faster. And it makes you happy and you want to go to the next level and the next. But each one has a body type. Some body types look better in a dance and then the other. So a mother will know how her child is. And people tend to think that Kathak is easier. It is not easy. And it's a much longer journey as well. Like I told you, 11 levels could take longer. And there's so many tals that we have. It's just, when you start with teen tal, you go to chhap tal, you go to dhamar tal. All of them are like, and the levels are increasing. The layer keeps increasing throughout. It is not easy. So don't go for Kathak because you think it's going to be easy. It looks easier. It is not easy if you want to do the whole thing properly. Go for it because you want to do it and it comes closer to your calling. Bharatanatyam, of course, a lot of people who have an audience there would like to pursue that. It has very nice, deeply embedded stories which you can relate to. Your parents and your grandparents and your family can. The costumes are very glamorous, and the sense of an Indianness outside of India comes through very quickly with Bharatanatyam. See what suits you and your community and where you can take it further. Main thing should be, is it going further? If it doesn't go further,
Okay.
6 mahine ka karke is no big deal. It doesn't work.
Okay.
Classical.
It would be like, हाँ मैंने भी किया है.
Exactly. Yeah. In that case, follow something which is more mixed styles, closer to what Bollywood is, and that would be easier for you because you can do choreographic work and you can still have fun with it. Go to places where you can dance and dance with people, do garba, dandiya, all of that. But don't start a dance form and then leave it because you did not know whether you had made the right decision then or not. So yeah, and you can always change. There's no harm in changing. There is this student of ours who was, when she was 3.5 years old, started learning Bharatanatyam. She has her own institute in India and does her online classes from Dubai and goes down to do Arangetram with her mom. Her mom runs it for her there in India, and she is learning Kathak and she's gorgeous as a Kathak dancer because now she's 24, 25. So 20 years of learning Bharatanatyam, running her own place and still learning Kathak and doing so well in it. Her name is Aarti. Fabulous. I think it's easy to transition from one to the other and not leave it behind.
You two sisters never left it behind.
No.
You are doing great, and that Aarti is also doing so good. So don't leave what you start. That's the key. Now, suppose a child has picked Kathak as a dance form to begin with, then what are the things someone who has just started should follow as a daily habits to become a good Kathak dancer?
I would say in today's world, when we were young, we used to go 5 days a week. It's not possible to do that anymore because we have so many other activities now. So best would be to at least do it twice a week, guided practice. That means twice a week you should go to your institute or guru or wherever other person, they're doing it in other places, should come to you. Another twice a week minimum for you to revise. So that it's not like when the guru or the instructor was there, they went away and then you forgot, and then when they come back again, you start that. So riyaz or practice. 2, learning. 2, riyaz. 4, this combination worked beautifully. It will not take too much time. In the beginning, you're only putting in 1 hour, not even 90 minutes. 1 hour for you to align yourself to the grid, to understand what works, how, which direction to take, how much time, how much stress to give on your feet, on your body, how to get it moving more with more flexibility. All that is happening, but it won't happen at the right pace unless you're putting in at least 2 guided sessions and 2 practice sessions for yourself. Eventually, it should be a lot more. You should be doing 90 minutes each, twice a week, and you should be practicing at least twice a week. And if you can do more, you will find that you're enjoying it more and you are learning faster. And that again feeds the other. Enjoyment, faster enjoyment. So it just keeps snowballing.
Let's take the child is 5 years of age. Obviously, it will be the level 1. So from level 1, usually how long it can take a child to move from level 1 to level 2?
So we start with the foundation or the primary level. In this level, you are basically, like I said, aligning yourself just to understand each direction, and we call it dynamics. The word is dynamics. The dynamics of a dance form has to be taught to you. And if you're 5 years old, you will need at least a year to understand that. Simple things as simple expressions and simple rhythm patterns and simple movements and stopping and freezing and squatting and, all of that with a discipline. See, they do everything. When the discipline word comes in is when children forget. So our job is to make sure that this is a time when you can't say, oh, I won't do it or I can't do it. We have to do it, however nicely. we say it, but it has to be that this has to be done. And that is why this is classical and not non-classical, as one would say, or semi. So 1 year for a 5-year-old would normally be the time. After that, grade 1 also takes approximately 1 year if you're putting into 2 sessions a week. Normal. We're just talking about normally how much does it take. Grade 2 sometimes takes 1.5 years, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. So that is why we have exams coming every 6 months. So depending on who is being able to gather how much and be able to produce that during an examination, we give them that little bit freedom. And about 1.5 years for grade 2, 1.5 years for grade 3. If you've spent 3 years between grade 2 and grade 3, normally one of the grades will become a little bit shorter, will become 1 year, maybe, if you're doing again continuously. So overall, some grades will be 1, some will be 1.5. So it just works like that. And eventually you pass out approximately at the age of 16 years to 18 years. 16 to 18, depending on individual ability.
Okay. So it's like anywhere between 11 to 15 years.
Yes,
overall.
that's correct. Yeah.
That is the duration we are looking for. If you are like
11 to 30.
you want to be
11 to
like all the levels you want to
Yes,
cross,
yes,
then in
yeah.
that case. Okay. Fine. Do you think that classical dance is losing relevance today? If yes, then what are the major struggles for these classical dancers today?
In fact, I would say more people are learning classical now than they used to earlier because it has been made so much more accessible. There's so many more institutes. There
Okay.
are so many more platforms to learn from. If you can't do it, it comes through this, and then you can go and get it brushed up elsewhere and come back again. But I do think that a lot of times before people actually know how to teach, they're teaching it. They themselves don't know enough and they start teaching it. But there's that person who doesn't know the difference between a good, complete teacher versus someone who is still in the process of learning himself or herself, gets misguided. And when they reach a certain level, they realize, oh, now I have nothing to teach this person. They start teaching them other aspects like maybe mixed styles or fusion or incorrect ones. So the life of a dancer stops there. That's my only regret, that I wish there was some more control on people who are teaching. They should be a little bit more ethical. But I would say more people are learning today than they were learning earlier. We come up to this level. They don't go above that because a lot of teachers are not able to impart that additional knowledge that
they are able to teach only to the extent they have themselves learned.
Exactly. Even less, because they have learned, but to teach, you have to know a lot more. One question, but for that, there are so many other ways of understanding it before you can actually teach someone about it. So sometimes, and also the vocabulary of dance, the ethics of dance, the safe aspect of it, all of that needs to be taught, not just movement. That you can copy from YouTube anyways these days. Everything is but how does it become classical and accurate is something that a good teacher will tell you. So that's something that can be done a little bit better.
How many teachers you have in Gurukul Studios?
Paliji is the artistic director, then we have 3 more.
When she is here, she also teaches?
Yes, she does. She basically teaches the teachers who take it forward with us.
So does that mean the teachers you have are trained by her?
Most of them are, yes. But sometimes we hire people from outside because obviously to have someone in Dubai to become a teacher, they may or may not want to, and we can't hold them back for that. So we get people, very highly qualified people have come to us from India. In fact, there were masters in Kathak from Banaras Hindu University. 3 of them have come from there. So yes, we have very highly qualified people. Actually 5. The 2 in India were also from BHU. So we have very qualified teachers. And they bring with them their own learning of BHU. And then on top of that, we add Paliji's movement, her vocabulary, her technique, which is amazing is the word, and of course the ICT syllabus. So when a person comes to us, they may come from any background, but eventually when they go out of here, they are a much more evolved dancer and a teacher. And and we look after them well.
I happened to visit Varanasi last year, and that was my first visit.
Oh.
So nice city, lovely city. I really liked it.
Amazing.
It has its own charm. Somna, I would like to understand the influence of Kathak in your life, and also please tell me why we should encourage kids to get into some or the other classical dance forms.
So first, which you said that why do I like Kathak or why did I pursue Kathak? Now, I mentioned the Lucknow aspect, and you know what? I am still a Lucknow girl. I left it more than 30 years ago, 34 years ago, and I was 22 then. So, but I live and breathe that language, that culture, that poetry, that chicken curry, that food. So when it comes to what would I do for my emotional well-being, and if that becomes dance, the calling is Kathak. It's a very natural progression. Even if Paliji was not in my life, even if I had not danced myself, if I had to choose which dance would I do, it would be Kathak because I am a Lucknow girl. You know, the arches of the Imambaras are the postures of Kathak to me. You know,
Okay.
what I'm wearing today, this design
Mhm.
pirouettes to me. This is chicken curry, right? So I
Mhm.
live, breathe Lucknow, and so I am attached to Kathak.
Okay.
Now that's the emotional aspect. But when I look at it, that when I did learn Bharatanatyam, I do love Bollywood. I love Madhuri Dixit. But when it comes to my soul, when I listen to a good ghazal, जब हम सुनते हैं आज जाने की जिद ना करो, and when I have to emote it, it comes out best in Kathak because it is a rag based ghazal. The rag is Deep Chandi.
Okay.
Words are Urdu shairi, which is part of Kathak, and the emotion is very subtle, is very elegant, is again Kathak. So nazar, nafasat are the two words that are associated with Kathak and dance form. They come through very easily for me and for a lot of people who understand Urdu poetry or just Hindi or shairi and all of that. It comes together very naturally. So if you want to be able to relate to, and you still want to be elegant about it, because in Kathak we don't move the upper section too much. Yeah, this
Okay.
doesn't move too much. So you hold yourself in a very elegant way. That elegance says a lot to me. So if you want your children or yourself to tell stories in this manner, which is beautiful, which is educated because it has good literature, which is tal based because it has so many tals that it works on, which is something that will stay in the minds of people because music, dance, all of that is coming together, but in a very elegant way. It won't go away like this because all rhythm patterns in so many other dance forms and music are like they come and go, and after maybe 5 days, you don't even remember them. बस आज जाने की जिद ना करो, and when you do that, tell me how many people will forget that. So if you want to stay in your own memory as an elegant person and in the lives and memories of others, I think Kathak or any classical dance form will take that space. It will take that space of staying with you and making you feel good and elegant about yourself.
Okay. So in Kathak, is it like most of the songs that are used are mostly the Urdu language based, or you have mostly others also,
No,
like
no, a lot of
Hindi?
अरे बहुत संस्कृत है संस्कृत lot no, all
Okay.
our shlokas are all Sanskrit. It's based on Natyashastra. So a lot of
Hmm.
all our bhajans, all our invocation pieces, Durga, all of them are Om Jayanti Mangalakari. All of them are
Okay.
Sanskrit as well as Hindi. And of course,
Hmm.
like I said, now the other aspect is also there, which is
And
how many.
when this court system it got shifted, then this also came in. Yeah.
That's
So it has taken that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is
Okay.
a sovereign country. It has all sorts of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why not just the Hindus, non-Hindus are also able to relate a
Also,
lot more
yes,
easily.
yes. So, and what about the second part of my question? How it will help their kids if they encourage them to get into classical dancing specifically?
Oh my God, I cannot tell you the benefits. And I think, actually, you know what? Now I can because now people will be able to relate to it. There was a time it was difficult for me to explain to them that you need it for yourself. But during COVID and post COVID, people have changed their attitude. They know how much they need a calling and a sense of self expression with calm and peace and a full body workout. And if that can be done, what else other than dance? You
Yeah.
can't pick up a racket and play in your house anytime you want. You need a court, you need a ball, you need another person to play with. You can't just pick up yourself and go to the gym in the middle of the night, but you can dance. All you need to do is make sure that you're not disturbing anyone else in the room. Put your music.
Maybe that time you have to use non-ghungru option.
So what does happen with dance is that it will somewhere connect with you, whatever mood you're in. Whereas other activities don't connect with you in terms of your mood. If you're sad, there'll be something that'll come to you. If you're happy, something else will come to you. If you are in a very national mood, national feelings are coming through. All of that, you're able to relate to it because of the lyrics.
Yes.
Yeah? So all of that somehow feeds into you as a person and you're able to benefit from it. And I think today's world, biggest problem is stress. It is the best stress buster. It's a full body workout from mind, body, and soul. So nothing
Hmm.
like dance, nothing like dance. So whatever little you can do, one should try to do that. And doesn't matter which one you do, please do it. If you can follow a syllabus based thing, fine. You can do a classical thing, no problem. Just dance. Just make sure that, and not dance to noise, but dance to good music. Not because
Yeah.
noise will only create more noise in your head and only create
Hmm.
more commotion in your mind. Try to go with a music or a piece that gives you that sense of quiet inside. We need to quiet. There's so much noise around us. We need to quiet.
Yeah. And what I think, like someone who's learning classical dance, by default, they simultaneously they will be getting the musical knowledge as well. Because, like a person like me who does not know classical dance
Mm.
was asking a very stupid question, "What is tal?" Right? But if my daughter learns, by default, she is going to learn about tal as well. So to learn a classical dance, it will add more to you.
Yes,
You understand the music also better,
absolutely.
which is coming free of cost, like, as a package.
Not just that, you know that when you're doing a rhythm pattern, it will help you in your mathematical ability also because it follows like we do tables, correct? So if you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. That means 1, 5, 9, and 13 are the first beat. Now, children at the age of 5 are able to do this.
Yeah.
They're able to focus because it is in a fun way, not out of a text.
Yes.
Eventually, they're able to do the same thing as 2, 3, 2, 3. And then the Talar Tal, which is 14 beat time Saka. So these complexities make your mind grow. Yeah, so definitely mind, body, both are growing with it. So why not?
Everything. I feel ample of things, like the way you are explaining. You're grooming your child from all the aspects.
Yes.
By health, person is becoming better because dance itself is an exercise. But that is very limited part what we are looking at. It has a lot more to serve, as you just explained. So yeah, please, parents, prefer classical over Bollywood. If your child learns classical, Bollywood will anyways come to that child.
And they will enjoy,
right?
They will enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
They will, Now they have a better sense of hold on the same Bollywood
Yes.
movements, which they may not have had earlier.
And anyways, if we actually look at all the actresses, the renowned ones we have in
Classically trained.
in film industry, all of them happen to be classical dancers.
Yeah. True. Very
Right?
Very.
All right. So now is the time for one-line answers.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
So we have like 4, 5 small questions. Can anyone learn Kathak, or does it require natural talent?
Anyone can learn Kathak. The level or the degree with which one can learn will vary. How far you want to take it forward is also going to vary. But anyone at any age can learn Kathak if you can stand tall and breathe properly and understand the words in the text. You can learn Kathak.
Okay. What is one habit that makes a great dancer?
One habit would be discipline, following a routine.
So as we were talking about the benefits, this is also one benefit. Your child will become more disciplined.
Absolutely.
Biggest myth about classical dance?
It's difficult. It's not.
Is it?
It's
no.
It is not difficult. You
Okay.
regularly. You know how much sugar you put is how sweet it is. There is no quick fix to it. But it's not difficult. You just need to remember to keep doing it as often as you can, and then when you start enjoying it, it doesn't feel difficult at all.
As you said, practice is more important.
Absolutely.
Yes. And when practice comes with discipline, then of course you will learn it.
Absolutely. It's not difficult.
Why should today's generation learn Kathak in particular?
See, because I'm doing it, it's easier for me to say that. Somebody who's doing something else would be probably having a better answer to that one. But for me, I moved countries. I moved from Bharatanatyam. As we had the option of taking Bharatanatyam on, but maybe we were not as good at Bharatanatyam because Pali ji is a Kathak exponent and choreographer, composer, guru. So my knowledge of that field was more. But now that I am into it and I have the option of taking other genres as well, I still feel that the audience that I have, which is in Dubai or Bangalore for that matter, are able to relate to more universal aspects, more one world attitude, more diverse themes, more different patterns of tals. So all of that comes together better in Kathak than it does for me in other forms. And I don't mean just Indian, even other flamenco, tap, ballet, all of that taken together. I just feel that Kathak is able to tell the stories of today in a much more effective manner because it is open to changes, because it is open to so many other languages. So that's my take
Got
on
it.
Kathak.
Okay. How many nationalities are there in Gurukul Studio at present? Like 220 students, you said.
Yes. See, the thing is, a lot of them are from ethnic origin Indian, but have been living in Canada or US or England for that matter, even Kenya, South Africa. So they have come to us. Their passports might be different from being Indian. They have not been born and raised in India, but their ethnic origin is Indian or Pakistani, and but mostly Indian. And we do have other nationalities. We have French lady, we have a Ukrainian lady, an Armenian lady, a Lebanese lady. So we do have different ones as well, but most of them are from the Indian subcontinent, ethnic origin. Passports are different.
Okay. And who's the youngest student of yours? What's the age?
5 years. Nazara was the youngest one who came in. She was 4 years and 7 months when she came. But her two sisters were learning with us prior to that. Her mother was learning with us. Radha was learning with Paliji. So Nazara was the youngest girl who started with us, and she was 4 years and 7 months. She's still with us. She's about 6 now.
And who's the oldest?
Oldest at the moment is a lady who's a wonderful Veena player. She is now, I think, T1. And she starts in with us. And she's even given exams.
So nice. It's good that, they have maintained themselves that much that they are able to pursue something like this, because usually, nowadays.
No, sometimes all the aches and pains with back issues and all of that, and we
Acha.
treat them with kid gloves. We make sure that the body's opened up before we start teaching them. So it's not necessary that they are coming in a fitness. They want to be, and they don't want gym. So they come to us, and then they're able to improve so well that I can't tell you. You have to see some of the productions we have. Fabulous.
Yeah. So Somna, tell me something about your proudest moment. You're running Gurukul Studio, you are the manager there. So please share some memorable performance of your student or any success story or that you still remember that you would like to share with our audience.
It's when our students do so well that they, it's an individual journey. And each person has their own little space there. So there are people with we have a lot of people with special needs. We have people who are very gifted and are doing well and are making production houses of their own. Then we have people who are doing this because if they don't do it, they'll probably go mad because this is their own little space. So on a daily basis, when I enter the studio, especially on a weekend, and I see this whole entire gamut of things happening, where I see a child who has struggled to even speak to someone is now dancing like she has nothing better to do in the world, or someone who is specially sort of abled and is still doing her level best to express what we are teaching. Those are the moments that make me feel it's worth it. Then, of course, there are people who are making their own company. So when they come and they learn from us and they go out and they make their own production house, and when I see, oh my God, what a production, better than what I could have done, that makes me proud. So these are little things, there's no one incident. There's so many of them and they happen so regularly. We are celebrating 20 years this year, and we'll be bringing all of this together with a 3-day festival. So at that point, I will highlight all these people who have been part of our journey, who have contributed.
Very soon, within 4 or 5 years, you are going to have Silver Jubilee, right?
Yes, but 20 is already going to be a celebration for us this November, December.
All right. So what is your vision with respect to Gurukul Dance Studio? Any dream projects, any dream collaboration or performances that you are looking forward to?
Short term is doing a very good festival of this coming together of everyone who was part of Gurukul and can make it to Dubai. We would like all of them to come and celebrate dance and Kathak in its purest form with us. So that would be the short term goal. Long term goal for me is to do some productions with our collaborations as well, because we've done a lot of collaborative work. Paliji especially does a lot of good collaborative. She did Amore about 1.5 years ago with Bharatanatyam and flamenco in Toda. That was very well received. So collaborative works we have done, but I've not been able to do as an entire community. There's smaller segments that have come together. My good dancers with their good dancers. I would like my entire Gurukul community to come together and do a good collaborative work with one or two other companies. So that is my vision, where people come together and do things together, and they share with each other, and we learn from them and they learn from us. So that's my dream. It will take bit more sort of time to get it together, but I will do it someday. So collaborations, that's the way to go for sure.
Good luck, Somna. And I'm hoping that I also get to see some of the performances, as I'm also in Dubai. So anything special happens, I would really love to visit, love to see, meet your team, and of course, I would love to meet Pali ji whenever she is here.
Sure.
Somna, thank you so much. You have given such a precious time of yours on a short notice, and it was so lovely talking to you. I can tell you, this is an enlightening podcast for me, because has been a domain I hardly knew much about, and there might be many like me who will listen to it and understand the classical dance, their forms, why is it important, the organizations associated with it, and your journey about your studio, people in Dubai who are there, if they would want their kids to get into something, they are looking for options. At least today they know, yes, there is something called Gurukul Studios. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
you.
Aditi. Lovely to speak to you, and really, it was absolutely no effort when I got to know that you want to spread the word of Kathak. I'm always there for that, not just for Gurukul or Somna, but for the word Kathak or dance or music. Always there, and you are going to be on the top of my invitee list for our shows. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Bye bye. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.